Well, I'd like to show you my collection of clocks. I'm going to explain what I know about each one in detail. So we'll walk back here behind the bar that was never used as a bar. And we'll start with my cuckoo clock. I bought this on eBay quite a number of years ago, maybe for about $50 or $60. And I have done some repair work on it in the intervening years. Replaced the ratchet wheel, which required some work because the part had to be altered to fit, but it works very well. It's a little bit larger than most cuckoo clocks, and it's painted uniquely, and I like it very much. So here is a more recent acquisition. It's a torsion pendulum clock made by Schatz. I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace for a little more money than I probably should have spent, but just a little north of $100. But it came with the shelf, and it came in its original box with the instructions. And I mounted the shelf on the wall, and the clock is sitting on the shelf. And the shelf is painted to match, and it's a very pretty clock. I like it. And this is one I got off of eBay, a seller called Pro Clocks. They're still around. This was very affordable. It turned out to be an Asian movement, but it's nice. I just don't like the gong. And this particular clock, if you let the striking side wind all the way down so it doesn't strike, the clock hangs up. So it doesn't like to run unless it's wound on both trains. So I don't run it. This is a Gilbert. It runs, it works, but it's got the same ugly kind of gong sound, so I don't run that. This is also a Schatz, I believe, that I had gotten from a member of my community when I was living in Passaic. It wasn't working, and he just gave it to me. He said, "Here, you can have it." So it works very nicely. A little bit over here, we have a West Clocks Big Ben. Now, I can get it to work. It's just not on my schedule yet. I like it very much because the case is in very good condition. The dial is not faded. It's not scratched. The labels, as you saw on top, are pretty legible. And it's shiny chrome, or polished nickel, actually. Going a little bit up here, excusing the tiny little bull of a quartz clock, we have a Swiss cylinder movement pocket watch that has its own leather case. And if you open the top over here, you can pull out a slide that fits into this dovetail and protects the dial when it's in transit. The leather is kind of dry, so I don't mess with it too much. And next to it is a barograph. This is from Eleanor Roosevelt's estate. My mother had picked this up, and just on a whim, and she thought I'd like it, and I think she only paid $100 for it. It has a Swiss cylinder movement, and it works well. I ran it for many years. It ran through Superstorm Sandy, and made a very nice depiction of the low pressure of that storm. Passing my Kodak Studio scale with all the weights, we have an English clock, but the movement is German, as most of the English clocks were, I believe, anyway. It's got a twin bell movement. The bells are mounted coaxially inside, and it has a bing-bong sound on the half hour, and bing-bongs the hours. Moving along over here is a clock that I recently picked up along with another clock that I bought. I really went to buy this other clock, and the guy also had this, and I got it at a very good price. I just have to get a convex glass for it. Not hard, it's a 6-inch glass, and it's keeping good time, and the movement was thoroughly restored at one time, and I don't think has really run. This cuckoo clock over here is one that I have at, I do work for a clock shop, and so the movement is with him. He's going to source a new movement for it, and I took everything apart, and these parts are over here. Those are the whistles, and this is the mechanism for the carousel over here. So I'm just waiting for that part. And this clock over here, which I'll show you, not this one, but this one. I don't want to touch it because I had done repair work on this for the clock shop, and I saw him recently, and he said, "Oh, this one's not working," but I'm running it. It's now been running for over 72 hours, and I don't want to touch it because he said it stopped after 3 days. So we're past 3 days already. We'll see. This one I just put back into service. So as you heard, its chimes are probably Whittington. I don't remember. Well, you can hear all the clocks going off. This one is a German clock that I picked up at a yard sale, also for about $100, but I was on my motorcycle, and I have a large touring motorcycle, and this fits snugly right into the tour pack, so I didn't even have to figure out how to strap it to anything. It went right inside the trunk. We call it a tour pack. This is a Sligh, S-L-I-G-H clock that I recently acquired. It has also a triple chime. That's right. And actually, the chimes are really in great tune. Sometimes they're not quite right, but this one is, and it sounds great. I like it. It's very clean. Now, this is my Seth Thomas. This was one of the first clocks that I got in my collection. It's 180 years old now, and 1845. Hope I did the math right. It works. It has weights. It's a 30-hour clock, so that means it needs to be wound every day, and it keeps good time, because most of the 30-hour clocks do keep good time, especially when they're weight driven, because the weights keep constant tension on the time train, unlike a spring. And 30 hours, there's not much force. The wear is very gentle on these clocks, so they tend to last a while. Here's a gingerbread clock that I don't run, also because it has gongs that I don't like the sound of. It's a good timekeeper. Moving along, we've got a Plymouth clock in a Banjo style with a George Washington and the home of Monticello. I believe that's Monticello. Plymouth is a division of Seth Thomas. Maybe it was considered their lower level to Seth Thomas, but it keeps good time, and it's got a nice chime to it. It's a single chime rod. So it doesn't play a melody, it strikes the hours. And above it happens to be an engraving of George Washington, and the engraving is one of 250, and it was framed by my mother, who worked for American Heritage, who sold these 250 engravings. She did the glass mat with gold leaf, and that's real gold leaf, not the kind of fake stuff that you get today. And she did that, and I'm very proud of it, and I think it's a nice companion to the George Washington clock. moving along to this area where I have my gym, we have a clock that I recently purchased. It's a Howard Miller. You could call it a regulator because the time train is weight driven. I don't know. I think regulators have a temperature compensated pendulum. It's called Milan by Howard Miller, and I think it's beautiful. I like it, even though it's relatively modern compared to the others. Moving into my workshop area, got a grandfather clock that I did many years ago, and I rebushed it, and boy, is it a great timekeeper. Doesn't need adjustment. It's not a seconds beat pendulum, which I prefer, but I bought this back in the maybe early 80s for $150. There's my bench. There's a clock that I don't like. It works, I just don't like it. This is a Joseph Gerl, G-E-R-L, and each of those weights weighs 10 pounds, by the way. I have a stand that I use for repairing clocks, and it's become a permanent display for this movement. The movement doesn't have a case because the previous owner, the whole clock fell over when their German Shepherd knocked it down. And, well, I'm going to make a wall-mounted case for it. Not a grandfather clock case, but a wall-mounted case. Kind of, the fact that this is wall-mounted. So that's it. I have one other clock that's really hardly even worth walking back for. It happened to belong to my ex-brother-in-law. I say ex because I had divorced his sister, but he unfortunately passed away and left me the clock that I had fixed for him once. And it's still working. Now we're going to go upstairs. Let me shut these lights. I guess it's gotten dark, so I'll turn on. This is a clock that I purchased within the last year from Ray's Clock Shop in Brooklyn, New York, and Ray unfortunately passed away, and they had a clearance sale to get rid of the inventory and close the store. I like it. And this kitchen clock that I have in the kitchen is from the Newark Clock Company, has a German movement, a painting of a windmill. I like this one too, and it's in a good place for a kitchen clock. This is one of my favorites. I bought this in Nyack, New York at their fall street fair. They probably recently had one if they're still doing it. It's a Tiffany clock, signed Tiffany, Young, and Ellis, which dates it to between 1840 and 1850 when they used those three names. So I say it's 1845, which makes it the same date as the weight-driven 30-hour clock that I have downstairs. I like the fact that they're both from the same time period, and it shows you the difference between the American cottage industries and the established French clockmakers. The movement of this clock is by Achille Bracot. It's a real Bracot movement by Bracot. And it's an excellent timekeeper. I did a full restoration on it some years ago, probably about 15 years ago, even to the point where somebody had butchered one of the screws, and I refinished it and blued it, and that's the level of detail that I put into this. It has matching numbers. By that I mean the key has serial number on it, which matches the movement serial number, which matches the bezel, the dial bezel serial number, and the pendulum bob serial number. So it's numbers matching like an antique muscle car. Moving past the old typewriter. I've got a torsion pendulum clock here. That works very well. Keeps good time. Here's another clock that I got from Ray's Clock Shop. It's got a large dial, and I like it. And it also has coaxial bells. It has 4 bells and strikes the Westminster chime. Here we have a clock that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace. I got it for 20 bucks, brand new, in the box, but it's old. It's Chinese. If it didn't work and look good, I wouldn't bother keeping it. And this is one that I had always wanted. I bought it for my birthday, bought it for myself a number of years ago. I recently lubricated the mainspring because it was starting to bind up and it wouldn't run the full 7 days. It's a Chelsea ship's bell clock. It strikes the ship's bell hours, which is different from a typical striking clock. I won't get into it now. And finally, I have a John Wanamaker clock. John Wanamaker was a big department store in Philadelphia, and they had their own signed clocks made for them. This one, though, is unusual for a torsion pendulum clock in that it has a working moon phase dial. Most torsion pendulum clocks hardly run at all, let alone driving another dial, another complication. So I'm quite glad to have this in good running condition. Not a lot of movement. People would say that it'll stop, but it doesn't stop. And that's the end. Thank you for watching.